Welcome to Overwatch, and welcome to something a little bit different. Today we're going to start doing what I'm going to call coffee chats, because I'm sat down with a bunch of coffee. I'm also sat further back in my chair, so I'm more relaxed. You can probably hear it in my voice. And we're just going to chat, basically, about some of the stuff that's happening over the week, rather than doing like daily news updates or whatever like a lot of other channels. I think this suits my style better, where we can just sort of go over bits and pieces. Now, last night, super late at night as well, like 4 AM, I was still awake, but that's just me. Jeff released a video, Overwatch released a video about their intentions to deal with toxicity and like the toxicity problem that exists in Overwatch. And I was very praising of the video. I still kind of am. It was actually a very interesting little piece that they did, because they talked about their plans to address things, and, you know, they're beefing up the reporting system. They've got reporting out on consoles, which is good. And, you know, that means that they have more control over their own platform and stuff like that. But they also did something kind of bold, which is they shifted some of the blame, almost, or some of the onus onto the community, saying that, hey guys, like, this isn't just us, this is on you as well. It's up to you guys to behave, basically, and to be nice to one another and to enjoy yourselves. I kind of like that statement. I kind of like that sentiment. I did see a couple of people responding badly to it, saying stuff like, you know, well, it's not our fault that, you know, someone insta-locks Widowmaker and then we have to report them and blah 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 blah. And then I get angry and stuff like that. Like, Overwatch is a game where there are a lot of points where you can get annoyed, right? You join the game and then someone picks a hero that you don't want to play with, and so you get annoyed, and then they start doing stupid shit and you get annoyed, and then you start losing and you get even more annoyed, and then you break, and then you snap, and then so on. Now, I found it interesting. Like, the big thing I found interesting was them saying, you know, development time is being taken away from other things to develop the reporting system. To me, that's a little bit almost ignorant, because if you look at other online games, online team-based games, the biggest problem is pretty much universally considered the community. Toxicity, community issues, community problems, whether it's League of Legends with people just being arseholes, whether it's Dota and people saying that, you know, Russians and Peruvians and whatever are arseholes, or just being rude to each other, being slightly racist, I guess, with those generalizations. People generally find that the community is usually the problem. The biggest thing impacting their ability to have fun is the influence of other people. So to sort of launch Overwatch, this game that relies so heavily on the team, like Overwatch is so difficult to solo carry. You have to basically be 2 brackets above wherever you're playing to be able to carry a game, in my mind. You're just asking for trouble by not anticipating that you are going to need some kind of beefy community management system. Now, I don't know, like, my paranoid brain says that Blizzard sort of knew this going in, but understood that the problem wouldn't become big enough until about a year and a half after release, and therefore they could sort of wait and focus on getting the game out, getting it polished, getting it to Blizzard standard, and then they could sort of wait to deal with that problem. The issue is that now it's become kind of so endemic that people think it's almost okay to be toxic in Overwatch, because that's just how people behave, right? People just do shout at you if you pick a certain hero. People do shout at you if you go off meta. People shout at you for various reasons, and it's just tiresome. This is also why we're seeing a wave of people who are just disregarding the community aspect. They're just leaving voice chat, leaving in-game chat, and then just playing on their own. And honestly, I've done it myself, and it's surprisingly liberating and surprisingly fun. I think the Blizzard can also do 2 more things to sort of help combat this problem. One of them is, I thought about this for a little while and sort of looked at other online games and thought, well, you know, in that example I gave of online team-based games having toxicity issues, PUBG doesn't really seem to have that issue, right? I mean, people shout abuse at each other, but honestly, abuse being shouted at you from the enemy team doesn't have the same sting to it as someone on your own team. And the reason why I think PUBG doesn't have such a huge issue is that you're often playing with, you know, 4 friends, or you're often playing with a couple of friends, and you know each other. And so anything you say to each other, whatever, it's amongst friends, it's fine. And it sort of got me thinking about how in Overwatch it's extremely hard to sort of get into, like, I could never conceive of playing in ranked with 6 of my friends, or with 5 of my friends. Like, it would just be insane to do, because the game I would get match made with would be horrible. It would be terrible to play, it wouldn't be fun. I would have to go out to a community like Scrim Central, go look it up, it's one of our communities, and I'd have to do it there. On top of that, there's no like clan infrastructure, and this I think is the big one that I really want to harp on, is the idea of having clans in Overwatch, because I think it would add a huge amount of control to the toxicity problem, because it adds an extra layer of accountability, right? If you're in a clan, then the clan expects you to behave in a certain way, they expect you to represent them when you're playing, and if everyone thinks you're a massive arsehole, well, then you're going to get kicked from the clan, and no one wants that. No one wants to get kicked out of a community they're a part of. Of course, you could have clans forming, you know, that are toxic or whatever, but those are easily managed through, you know, good, capable moderation. Because I think Overwatch has definitely missed a trick where this is meant to be a very social game, it's meant to be a very, you know, team-encouraging game, and yet there is no infrastructure inside the game to build a clan, to build a group of people you play with regularly. You can see when they're online, you can ask very quickly and easily when they're available outside of just the normal Battle.net friends list. Like, you know, these guys made World of Warcraft, they made StarCraft, they made Warcraft 3, all of these games were built on clans and guilds. And then there's this weird thing that sort of happened to Blizzard around Battle.net 2.0 where they didn't have clans in StarCraft 2, and everyone was like, well, where's the clans? Like, where can I set up spaces with my friends super easily and feel like part of this group? And that it's part of being human, right? It's part of being human. You want to feel part of the group. That's why, you know, I call my subs the many. It's why everyone calls their subs something, or makes people feel included in a group, has Discord communities, has communities elsewhere. Like, it's fun to be part of a group of people you have shared interests with. And so I think if Blizzard want to help fix this toxicity issue, it's not only sort of going in with the sort of top-down approach, but also helping foster the bottom-up approach, helping build communities that do encourage positivity. And they do this a lot in, you know, encouraging cosplay, encouraging artists, encouraging content creators like me. They try and encourage these positive voices in the community, but I think they can do more in terms of what the average player can do. Whether that involves also creating a 6-stack queue, or a proper place where you can go and get 6-stack versus 6-stack games. You could even do cool things like StarCraft 2 has tournaments running every so often that you can just sign up to and play in, like these little online run tournaments. Why not do that with Overwatch? Why not, you know, and give out Blizzard Balance on Battle.net as a prize or something? I don't know. Maybe there's gambling rules. I'm sure there's legislation that makes that all very complex. But just encouraging and fostering groups to play with each other and then hold each other accountable for their behavior, I think could do a lot. Other than that, sort of in the past week, I know that Season 6 started a little while ago, but we're still seeing sort of, and tying into this, I guess, we're still seeing the feedback that, oh, Season 6 is the worst season, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's been a week. Come on. Be reasonable. The thing that people are seeing more than anything is an increase in one-tricks. I think that's just an aspect of the game. And I don't see that going away unless Blizzard let you reset yourself on ladder somehow to practice a new hero. You're going to see people creating accounts just to play a different group of heroes. I've done it several times. Like, I don't want to play Tracer or Widowmaker or Doomfist or Reinhardt. Well, actually I don't mind playing Reinhardt and Ohm, but you get the idea. I don't want to play it on my account that's primarily a support main, because if I do that, I get people going, well, why aren't you playing Zenyatta? And then they get tilted and then they get annoyed, and I just don't want to deal with that bullshit, basically. And so it's kind of this complicated issue, this overwhelming issue of how do you practice new heroes, and the only advice I can ever give people is, well, you're going to lose, and you just got to accept that fact. But the problem with losing is that you also get people getting angry with you, and that's, to me, that's the really tiring part. Losing SR, I don't really mind. It's trying to deal with people who act like complete shitheads while losing that, to me, is the bigger issue. Otherwise, with Season 6, again, give it time. We still got like a month and a half of Season 6 to go, so like don't throw it out just yet. I've had, honestly, more positive games this season so far, proportionately, than I had last season. I don't know, people feel nicer. I've had some terrible fucking games as well, don't get me wrong, but those are always going to happen. Like, you're always going to get games in any online game where there's just arseholes, and you've just got to accept that and move on, deal with it, I guess. Report, that's all you can do. Last but not least, Mercy, D.Va, and Junkertown had their release date announced from recording. It's in about 4 days. I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it a long time. Mercy's gameplay has often felt sort of disruptive to the game, as has D.Va's. Mercy's gameplay to me was always the biggest sore thumb. The fact that there's a hero in the game that just is rewarded for hiding is always felt icky and always felt unfun. And then Defense Matrix, I think even in the first release of it, when I did a character analysis on D.Va, I said that Defense Matrix kind of feels like it's going to be one of these things that's either completely overpowered or completely useless. It's an insane ability. The ability to just delete the work of your enemy team is never really going to feel super satisfying unless you manage to tie a really high skill component in with it, which, you know, with a low duration now, you can argue has a way higher skill cap. You can't just hold right mouse button over Zarya for 4 seconds while everyone kills her. She's going to have a time maybe to get that graviton out, and suddenly you have, you know, gameplay. You have, okay, I need to time this so that I can anticipate and read the Zarya, and the Zarya needs to try and read me. And suddenly that's interesting, and that's actually an interesting and exciting dynamic. Otherwise, guys, this is about the end of the coffee chat. Most of it was about Jeff's video. I wanted to talk about Jeff's video, but I want to try and do these more regularly. I'm trying to sort of figure out how to get content more regularly onto the channel, what I'm doing with it. I've also got the definition series already in the pipeline. I just need to edit some video footage together for that, and I look forward to talking to you guys more. If you have any comments on any of the issues raised on coffee chat, or you want stuff that I can talk about maybe in a slow week, then put it in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for watching to the end, guys. I've been Josh, just one voice amongst many. Make sure to smash that sub and like button and all that horrible YouTube shit that keeps channels afloat. Honestly, the best thing you could do if you want to support me is follow me on Twitch, come by, watch the streams, have a good time, enjoy yourself, have fun playing Overwatch, and yeah, I'll see you there hopefully. It's all in the description below. Thanks for watching to the end. Toodles.